Video News. KP Video News, y'all. KP Video News, y'all.
Black Power! Black Power!
Video News, y'all.
Alright, let me stop clowning around here. This is KP's Video News. That's right, folks. KP's Video News, y'all. And I'm happy to bring this story here today about the charges permanently dropped. Charges are permanently dropped against Breonna Taylor's boyfriend for shooting officer the night she was killed. And so, Louisville, Kentucky, the charges against Kenneth Walker stemming from last March's fatal Louisville Metro Police Department shooting of Breonna Taylor have been permanently dismissed. So the charges against him have been dismissed. Jefferson Circuit Court Judge Olu Stevenson's ruled the charges would be dismissed with prejudice, meaning he cannot be recharged for the March 13, 2020 incident. Walker, Taylor's then boyfriend, was arrested and charged with assault and attempted murder of a police officer after he shot Sergeant Mattingly in the thigh as police burst into Taylor's apartment with a search warrant shortly before 1 a.m. Walker has maintained he did not know police were at the door and thought intruders were breaking in. Those charges were dismissed without prejudice in May 2020, with Jefferson Commonwealth's attorney Tom Wine calling for more investigation to determine if criminal charges were warranted and Walker should be recharged. Wine said then he believed officers knocked and announced themselves before ramming in Taylor's door, but added it was conceivable Walker did not hear them announce they were police. Mattingly, who required surgery after the bullet severed an artery, said in October he understood it might be difficult to get 12 jurors to unanimously agree beyond a reasonable doubt that Walker knowingly fired at police officers. In a motion filed last week, Wine's office moved to dismiss those charges with prejudice, writing, "No new information relevant to the charges against Walker in this matter have been brought to the Commonwealth's attention." As such, the Commonwealth moves the court to amend its prior dismissal of this matter without prejudice to a dismissal with prejudice, according to the filing signed by Wine and Assistant Commonwealth Attorney Ebert. Walker's attorneys have argued he should have also been granted immunity from prosecution under Kentucky's stand your ground provisions. Walker sued the city of LMPD and LMPD in September, seeking immunity from prosecution and damages, alleging he was a victim of police misconduct. Stevens, however, denied a motion to grant Walker immunity, saying it was now a moot issue. Declaration of immunity would mean Walker could not face prosecution or civil litigation in the March 13th shooting, and so that's a good thing. You know, it's they're moving on from one situation, and his charges have been dropped, and he will no longer be able to be prosecuted for attempted murder of a police officer by that particular jurisdiction. So, you know, who knows if the feds are going to try to charge him with something. We don't know about that. But usually when they just dismiss it on a local level, the feds don't have anything to do with that. Okay, now this situation here is a sad situation, and this happened in Minneapolis, close to where the George Floyd memorial site. So one person was killed and another person was injured in a shooting at the George Floyd Memorial Site in Minneapolis on Saturday night, authorities stated. And John Elder, a spokesperson for the Minneapolis Police Department, stated Monday that officers responded to the intersection of 38th Street East and Chicago Avenue after a sensor system alerted them to the sound of gunfire. Elder said before the officers arrived, the victims were taken to the county medical center where one passed, and authorities did not release the names of the victims. A preliminary investigation found that the victim had gotten into an argument with the shooter before the gunfire broke out. And As you all know, George Floyd passed away after Officer Derek Chauvin put his knee on his neck for about 9 minutes. Anyway, that case is going on right now, and they're in the process of picking the jury for the charges that were brought up on Chauvin. I think it's like third degree manslaughter, second degree and third degree manslaughter charge, and I think they might have been trying to put like a third degree murder charge on him also. So he's charged with second degree murder and manslaughter, and he faces up to 40 years in prison if he's convicted. So they were supposed to start picking the jury today, but I think the judge delayed picking the jury for some reason. And so on with the show, we have a researcher that calls for Black Americans to join the tribe established with the United Nations to receive diplomatic immunity and protection. ADSN, the UN file ADOS Black founded independent sovereign tribal nation government engaged in North America development and future trade agreements with several international governments is seeking shareholders and others who have talents in social media, government development and international protection, automatic war crimes and government fines on racist cops who murder unarmed black people. In Pittsburgh, for the last 30 years, at the beginning of 1990, a project was hatched to definitively empower African American people up and beyond America's white privileged society, and said society's 400 plus year ingrained allowed violent racism toward black people. The project began by brothers Dr. Ray Stubbs and Sharif Muhammad identified all neglected aspects necessary for the Independent Black Empowerment Project, which first formed as an economic blueprint, later codenamed by Sharif Root to Root, aka R2R, entailing U.S. black businesses placing shares in a collective pot and having African nations investors take shares in exchange for capital and goods, giving the investors an incentive as shareholders in the success of R2R. Meanwhile, R2R would benefit from the economic dynamics between Black America and Africa. However, upon being inspired by the need for collective black global economics, teachings of Professor Kelsey, the R2R focus morphed into a blueprint for an independent U.S. black tribal nation with a fully blueprinted 3-section, multi-departmentalized, 4-tiered government incorporating R2R to be founded by ADOS black people. In 2017, the R2R tribal nation concept was concretely named Waya Simba. So, as Stubbs explains, ADOS blacks are the only people on the entire planet ever who do not have their own unique nationality that embodies their personal journey as a people due to chattel slavery. And Waya in Cherokee is wolf, representing the North America, and Simba in Swahili represents Africa, respectively, denoting multiple dual heritage aspects of ADOS blacks in North America. And so this is a good article. It's actually really, really long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link on the page so you can go there and check it out for yourself. I'll tell you what the link is here, and then and I'll also write it so you can go check out this. And it's adsn-org.org. Says the letters adsn-org.org, and you can go check them out over there and see what that's all about. And I'll put the link up on the page so you can go see the articles. And so we have two black entrepreneurs that are raising $200 million to purchase a black bank. And Arlington, Virginia, Darnell Parker and Derek Taylor, two banking veterans and owners of Ingenious Financial, have announced plans to raise $200 million Series A funding to purchase an existing bank. Parker, who is the company's founder, and Taylor, who is the company's COO, say they are setting out to own a bank to better serve underserved and underbanked communities. Minority banks play an important role in the economic empowerment of minority communities, and these financial institutions have long been considered as innovators in banking, says Mr. Parker. But in several years, they have not always managed to keep up with technology advances. And Parker and Taylor are launching the capital campaign to purchase a bank already insured by the FDIC, bypassing the strict regulations and other challenges that come with starting a new bank from scratch. Mr. Parker says when financial institutions that are larger absorb some of the minority deposit institution banks, they left a tremendous void for these banks who previously served minority communities by providing small to medium-sized business loans. And the venture will be called the Bank of Ingenious, a name they believe provide ample and flexibility in how they will serve the underserved and the underbanked communities. And I'll put that link on there so you can check them out as well. www.ingenious.financial. So here we go, man. This is this story here is really like a slap in the face of anybody that was out there doing any kind of activism this last year. They had some white officers that danced with Black Lives Matter people at a rally in Rocky Mount, Virginia, then turn around and storm the nation's capital on January 6th. So on a sunny day last spring, Bridget Craighead was dancing the electric slide with 3 police officers in the grass next to the farmer's market. It was the first Black Lives Matter protest in rural Virginia County it had ever had, and Ms. Craighead, a 29-year-old hairdresser, had organized it. She had not known what to expect, but when officers arrived, they were friendly. They held their signs up high and stood next to her, smiling. Later on, an officer bought pizza and McDonald's, and they even politely ignored her cousin's expired license plate. This, she thought, was the best of America. With police officers and Black Lives Matter activists laughing and dancing together, they were proving that in some small way, the Southern County, with its painful past of racism, was changing. They had gotten beyond the racist ways of the older people. This made her feel good, and the photograph from that day, Sergeant Thomas Robinson smiling and Miss Craighead standing behind him with her face tilted toward the sun and her fist held high. She did not see the officers around Rocky Mount much after that, but in early January, someone sent her a photograph. It showed Officer Jacob Fracker and Sergeant Robinson posing inside the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, the day the building was stormed by Trump's most dangerous supporters. At first, she did not believe it. But there they were, Officer Fracker giving the camera the middle finger. She confronted them on Facebook, and they did not deny it. On the contrary, they claimed that they were proud of what they had did. What came next happened fast. The officers were arrested, their homes searched, their guns confiscated, and residents yelled at each other outside the municipal building while the town council was inside debating on whether the officers would be fired or not. And Ms. Craighead and her hair salon received threatening emails and Facebook messages, and the officers did too. Everybody, it seemed, was angry. From the best of America to the worst of America. That was Franklin County over the past year. But what happens now, Mr. Fracker, 29, and Robinson, both 48, both veterans who served in Afghanistan and Iraq, said they did not participate in any violence that happened at the Capitol that day. That's what they claim. But anyway, they've been arrested and charged. And so I'm telling you now, man, this whole situation, man, is just like you got people smiling in your face. All the time they want to take your place. Backstabbers. Turned right around, man, and went straight to the Capitol, man, storming the Capitol. Same cops out there doing the electric slide. Next thing you know, man, they over there storming the Capitol, man, trying to stop the vote. So here we go with the last story. This is a story about a black entrepreneur who launched the first African Pride sneakers, celebrates 5 years in business. Tarek Edmondson, founder of the CEO of Atlanta-based Nagas Footwear, has generated a worldwide buzz with his custom design sneakers. And the combination of red, black, and green is more than just a color scheme. It's a political movement that calls for African control of African communities. And these shoes are collector's items that capture a moment in time back in December 2015 when Tarek made history by becoming the first to create an internationally successful sneaker line of this kind. Since then, Nagas Footwear has launched countless other custom sneakers to commemorate the legacy of powerful black leaders. These sneakers are released in limited numbers and have consistently sold out since the first pair debuted. Upon the release of the Nat Turner Max, named after the rebellion that is said to have expedited the coming of the Civil War, the shoe sold out within minutes. It says, our mission is to educate and inspire our people through fashion, and our goal is for our brothers and sisters to walk in power with sneakers that represent our culture, Tarek explains. In honor of the 5-year anniversary of Nagas Footwear, is launching an exclusive apparel line, and they got apparel also. I already went over there and looked, and they got some nice shirts, sweatshirts, hats, you know. So hey, I think I'm gonna go right over there, back to the website and order something. They did have a real nice red, black, and green hoodie that I like. But right now, they're giving up 50% off, folks. 50% off for your first order at Nagas Footwear. That's NAGASTFOOTWEAR.com. NagasFootwear.com. I'll put the link on the page, and go over there and put your email in. I already put mine in. They sent me a code for 50% off, so I'm gonna go back and order something 50% off today. And Nagas Footwear, support your black businesses at all costs. You know, hey, if you got the chance, you got the time, you got the money, go right ahead on and do that, folks. Do it.
Right. KP's Video News, y'all.
Black Power. Peace.